Welcome you all to Module 4 Class 2. So in today's class, we are going to learn about the ways in which the function call can be done. That is either call by value or call by reference. Then we'll see how we can pass an array to the function, and couple of more example programs we will discuss in today's class. Now, call by value. There are two ways, call by value and call by reference, to make a call to the function. Now, call by value, wherein we send the value to the function from the calling function. That is, we send the actual parameters to the calling from the calling function to the called function. We have already seen the examples previously, that is the addition of two numbers. We have written a function. So in all those cases, we have made use of call by value. Here one more example we'll see now. So void calc int x is the function which I have declared here. Void, because it's not going to return anything. Calc is the name of the function. Int x, so it takes one input argument, that is x here. Now in the void main I have given, because the main function does not return anything, so I mentioned it as void main. Now int x equal to 10. Now a variable x I have declared here and initialize it with the value 10. Now calc of x. Now this is the actual parameter I am passing to the function calc. Now once this function call is executed, control will directly go to the definition of the function calc, that is void calc int x. Now whatever argument I have passed from the main function, that the value of x, that is 10, will be copied to x here in the calc function, which is the formal parameter, which just copies the value, that is the actual parameter value, into the formal parameter, that is x over here. Then x equal to x plus 10. Now the x value is 10 plus 10, so the value of x changes here to 20. Now printf value of x in add function is percentage %t comma x. So now the value of x becomes 20 here. Then the control goes back to the main function, since the void calc function execution is over. So control will go back to the calling function. So next line, whatever instruction is given will be executed. Next line is printf slash n value of x in main is percentage %t comma x. Now here the actual value in the main function will be printed. So x value will be 10 itself, because I have sent the actual parameters which are copied in the calc function into formal parameter or formal argument x. So that, because the pass, when we execute call by value, where whatever value we are sending will be copied onto the formal parameters in the called function. So the x value changes only within the calc function, but the original value of x in the main function remains the same, because when we execute the call by value, always the actual parameters are copied onto the formal parameters. So it operates only on the copy of the value sent. Next is call by reference. Now in case of call by reference, we don't directly pass the value to the function. We pass the address, or we pass the reference. In a sense, we pass the address to the function from the while calling the function. So it will not operate on the copy of the value sent. It will actually operate on the value stored in the specified location or in the specified address. So now here void calci int star x I have given, that is a pointer variable. So pointer variable is the one which can hold the address of another variable. So next void main int x equal to 10, same. Next calci ampersand x I have given, that means I am passing the address of x where the value stored is 10. So that will be uh, passed to the function. Now once calci ampersand x is executed, it's a function call is executed, control will directly go to the function definition. Now void calci int star x. So now the star x contains the address of variable x passed from the main function. So now you can see here in the table there the main function x equal to 10. For example, I have given their location as 1001. So when I execute the function call, the location address, that is 1001, is passed to the calci function. So now x equal to x plus 10. So since the address is passed, it will go to the location 1001, whatever value is stored, that is 10. So that will be taken, and 10 plus 10, so 20. So that will be stored in the variable x here. Okay, so then print the value of x in add function is, that is now it has become, the value has become 20. Since I have passed the address, that's why the whatever changes are done to the value sent or to the variable x will be reflected in the main function also. That's why when I again print the value of x in main function also the value of x is 20 itself. Whereas in case of call by value, we are directly sending the value which will be copied to the variable specified in the function. In case of call by reference, we pass the address to the function. That's why it operates on the given address. So whatever modifications are done to the variable or to the address what is sent, that will be reflected in the main function also. Next, laboratory program 7, implement using functions to check whether the given number is prime and display appropriate messages. So no built-in math function to be used. Now we have already seen the program to find the whether or to check whether the given number is prime or not. Now the same program we will have to modify it and write it making use of a function. So now hash include stdio.h, that is the header file which consists of the standard input and output functions. Next, int is prime. Is prime is the name of the function which will compute or which will check whether the given number is prime or not, and it will return the result back to the main function. So I have given the return type is integer over here, and it accepts an integer. So within the brackets I have given here int. So int is prime of int. So I am declaring the function. Next, int main I have given. So next, int n. First I'll accept the number from the user, then pass that to the function. So I made use of variable n here to store the input from the user. Printf, enter a whole number, scanf %t, comma ampersand n. Now based on what result is sent by the is prime function, I will I will specify whether the given number is prime or not. If the is prime function returns the value as 1, 1 means true. So if it returns 1, then I will display that the entered number is prime number. Else I will display the entered number is not a prime number. So I am giving a call within the if statement itself. If is prime of n. Now that is the function call. Now for example, if we take like for example n value as 4. Now is prime of 4. Now once the function call is given, control will go to the function is prime, that we'll see in the next slide. Now once the function call is executed, for example here I have taken n as 4. So if is prime of 4, when that it is executed, the function call is executed. So the control will directly come to the function is prime. So int is prime of int n. Now the actual parameter, that is n equal to 4. That value is copied to the formal parameter n in the is prime function. So the n equal to 4 here. Now it is actually a copy of the actual parameter because I have made use of call by value. Now I'll have to check whether the given number is prime or not. So int I, because I'm making use of for loop, and then checking whether the number is prime or not. So for I equal to 2, I is less than or equal to n by 2, I plus plus. That is, I'm going to divide the given number starting from 2 till the half of that number. If it is divisible completely, that means it is not a prime number. So for I equal to 2, I is less than or equal to n by 2, I plus plus. Now here example I have taken as 4. So first now I equal to 2. So I equal to 2, I is less than or equal to n by 2. N by 2 becomes 4 by 2, that is 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 2, condition is true. So control will come inside the for loop. Now if n mod I is equal to 0, that means if the remainder is 0, means it is completely divisible. N is 4. 4 mod 2. 4 mod 2 will give the remainder as 0. So that's why I'll the return the condition is true. So control will go inside the if and return 0 is executed. So once return 0 is executed, the control will go back to the main function where if is prime of n was executed. So if is prime of n, now the value returned is 0. So the if there becomes false, because if the function returns 1, then the if condition there in the main function becomes true. Since 0 is sent, the if condition in the main function becomes false and the else part will be executed. So the entered number 4 is not a prime number. Next, we'll see the concept of passing array to a function. So now declaring a function with array as a parameter. So here int sum int array. Now this is the format in which we'll have to declare an function which accepts an array as input. Now int sum int array of we have given the size will be left blank, depends on the whatever input is given, it will be copied over here because this is in case of call by value. Or if we are executing call by reference, then we need to create a pointer variable. So int sum int star ptr, which will hold the address of the first element of the array. Now passing array as a parameter to a function, in that now passing a single array element to a function. We can either pass one element of the array or we can pass the entire array to the function. First we'll see how to pass a single array element to a function. So now here I have defined a disp array function which will just display the content of the array. So void disp array int a I have given. Now I have given void because it is not going to return any value. Whatever array or whatever element you are passing, it will just display that in the function. So int main, now int array, I have declared an array here and initialized it with the value 2 3 4. Now this array of 2. So array of 2 when I am passing, that means that the element stored at location 2 in the array, that is 4. So now that 4 will be passed to the display function. So void display int a I have given. You can see here I have not mentioned the square brackets over here because this is accepting only one element. That is why I have not specified it as an array. So int a. So the array 2 value what is passed here is 4, that will be copied to variable a in the function, then printf percentage d comma a. So 4 will be displayed as the output. So after the printf function ends here. So control will go back to the main function. Next instruction is return 0 will be executed and the main function ends, or the execution of the program terminates. Now we will see how to pass complete one-dimensional array to a function. So again hash include stdio dot h. Then void display, again same display function I have used. Now int a of, I use the square brackets over here indicating that it is going to accept the entire array as such. Next main, then int array of equal to 2 3 4. That's the same thing. Again I have declared an initialized array with values 2 3 4. Now I am going to pass the entire array. So this array and the just the array name I specify over here. So now the entire array I am passing to the function. Once the function call is executed, the control will go to void disp array. Now int a. Now here again I have mentioned the square brackets indicating that it is accepting the entire array. Now whatever array I have passed, so that will be copied to a in the display function. Now I have to display each element of the array, so I will have to make use of the for loop. So I have declared local variable here int I. Next for I equal to 0, I is less than 3, because I know there are only 3 elements over here. So I have given I is less than 3, I plus plus. So printf percentage d comma a of I, that is first a of 0, then a of 1, then a of 2. Once I becomes 3, the for loop is terminated. So the contents 2 3 4 are displayed. So after the execution of the function, control will come back to the main function. After display array, the next instruction is return 0. Return 0 is executed and program terminates. Next, write a function to find the sum of the array. So we have already written the program to find the sum of the array. So same program we can modify and make use of the function, concept of function, and find the sum of the array. So now here int asum. Asum is the name of the function which accepts an array and finds the sum of the function. It will return the sum to the calling function, that is the main function. That's why I given return type as int, and it has accepts an array which is of array of integer. So int a of is the formal parameter I have declared here. Next void main, then int a equal to 1 2 3 4. So I have created an array a and initialized it with the value 1 2 3 and 4. Then I need to store the sum of the array elements. So I have made use of another variable here, or I declared another variable sum which is of integer type. Now I have to call the function. Since the function has got return type as well as input arguments, that is why I need a variable to call the function. That's why I declared the sum variable. So sum equal to a sum of a. So now a sum is the name of the function, a is the array I am passing to the function. So once the function computes the sum, that will be returned to the calling function, and whatever the result is sent back, that will be copied to the variable sum here. So next printf the sum of the array is, so the sum will be displayed in the main function. Once the sum equal to a sum of a is executed, the control goes to the asum function. So int asum int a of. So now whatever the array I have passed from the main function will be copied to a in the asum function. Now int a of in the asum function has the array a which is initialized to 1 2 3 4. Now that will be copied to a. Now I have to find the sum here. I will make use of the for loop, because each and every element of the array I will have to add it up to find the sum. So int I equal to 0 comma sum equal to 0. Now for I equal to 0, I is less than 4, because I know that there are only 4 elements. So I is less than 4, I have given I plus plus. So now first initially I is 0 and sum is also initialized to 0. I is 0, so 0 less than 4. The condition is true, so control will come inside the for loop. Now sum equal to sum plus a of I. So sum is 0, 0 plus a of 0. A of 0 is the first element, that is 1. So 0 plus 1, so sum becomes 1 now. Again, I is incremented by 1. So now 1 is less than 4, condition is true. So control will come inside the for loop. Now sum equal to sum plus a of I. Sum value is 1 now. So 1 plus a of 1. A of 1, the value stored is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So now again I is incremented by 1. I is incremented by 1. So I becomes 2 now. So 2 is less than 4. Condition is true. So the control will come inside the for loop. So now some value previously computed was 3. So now 3 plus a of a of I is now a of 2. So a of 2, the value stored is 3. So 3 plus 3, 6. So 6 will be stored in sum now. Again, I is incremented by 1. Now I becomes 3. 3 is less than 4. Condition is true. So control will come inside the for loop. Now sum equal to sum plus a of I. So previously computed value of sum is 6. So 6 plus a of 3, a of 3 value stored is 4. So 4 plus 6, that is 10 will be stored in sum. Now I is incremented by 1, I becomes 4. So 4 is less than 4, condition is false. So control will come outside the for loop and the return sum statement is executed. Now return sum. So sum, the value stored in sum is now 10, which is the sum of the array. So return sum will send the value, that is 10 is sent back to the calling function, and that 10 we copy to sum in the main function. Next, printf statement is executed. So printf, the sum of array is percentage d slash n comma sum. So the sum, that is the result is 10, which will be displayed now. So finally, the program computes sum of the array. In this case example, I have taken, in this example, it will be 10. Next, write a function to display the Fibonacci series up to nth term. We have already seen the program to display the Fibonacci series up to n terms. Now we will write the program making use of the concept of functions. So void fib int n. Now this is the function which I have written to to display the Fibonacci series up to n terms. So I'll just call the function from the main function. I'll call the function fib and then display the Fibonacci series in the function itself. That's why the function does not return any value. So I mentioned void fib is the name of the function int n. N is the number, then is the nth term up to which the Fibonacci series has to be displayed. Now in the main function int n to accept the nth number or the nth term from the user. So printf enter the nth term of Fibonacci series scanf percentage d ampersand n. So now whatever input the user gives will be stored in the variable n. Next, fib of n. So now I'm calling the function and specifying the nth term whatever user has mentioned. So fib of n. Now this is the function call. Once the function call is executed, the control will directly go to the function fib. So now fib of n, the function call is executed. So the control will come to the function. Now void fib int n. For example, now if n is 5, then void fib of int n. So whatever value 5 is the actual parameter sent will be copied to the variable n in the function. For example, 5 I will take now. So n will be equal to 5. Now int I equal to 0. So fib1 equal to 0. First two Fibonacci numbers are 0 and 1. That I'll have to initialize it. So fib1 0, fib2 is 1. Then fib3 I'll have to compute it as fib1 plus fib2. Now first if n is equal to 1, if the user has given the input as 1, that means first term should be displayed. So the Fibonacci series up to percentage d term is percentage d n comma fib1. Now, if the user has entered the input as 2, that means first two Fibonacci numbers should be displayed, that is fib1 and fib2 is displayed here. Now, in this example, I have taken input as 5. So, if n is equal to 5, equal to 1, condition fails since n is 5. So, next else if condition will be checked. N is equal to 2, n is 5, so 5 is equal to 2 is false. So, the else part will be executed. So, now first two terms we'll have to display first. So the Fibonacci series up to percentage d, the term is percentage d slash n, percentage d slash n, n comma fib1 comma fib 2. First two Fibonacci numbers will display. Now remaining numbers we will have to compute. So I equal to 3, I is less than or equal to n I plus plus. Since I have taken fib 1 and fib 2, so next starting from the third number, so I equal to 3 since n is 5. So now 3 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true, so control will come inside the for loop. Now I'll compute the third Fibonacci number, fib 3 equal to fib 1 plus fib 2. Fib 1 is 0 plus fib 2 is 1. So 0 plus 1, that is 1, will be the third Fibonacci number. Now fib 2 will be moved to fib 1, then fib 3 will be equal to fib 2. That is, for the next Fibonacci number, the previous two Fibonacci numbers I'll have to add. That's why fib 2 is moved to fib 1 and fib 3 is moved to fib 2. Now printf percentage d comma fib 3. That is the third Fibonacci number is displayed. Now again control will come back to the for loop. I is incremented by 1. So I becomes 4 now. 4 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true. So control will come inside the for loop. Now fib 3 equal to fib 1 plus fib 2. So now fib 1 value is now 1 and fib 2 value is also 1. So 1 plus 1, that is 2. So that will be stored in fib 3. Now again fib 1 equal to fib 2, fib 2 equal to fib 3. Now percentage d slash n fib 3. That is the next Fibonacci number is displayed, that is 2. Next I will be incremented by 1. I becomes 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true. So control will come inside the for loop. Now fib 3 equal to fib 1 plus fib 2. So now the fib 1 value is the previous value, that is fib 1 will be 2 plus fib 2 will be 1. So now 2 plus 1, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3. So next fib 1 equal to fib 2, fib 2 equal to fib 3. So the next Fibonacci number 3 is printed. Now I is incremented by 1. So now I becomes 6. Now 6 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is false. So control will come outside the for loop and then the function execution terminates and the control goes back to the main function. After the function call, the program is terminated. Now write a function to find the factorial of a given number. So we have already seen the program to find the factorial of a given number. Now the same program we will write it using the concept of function. So I made use of created a function here, fact, which would find the factorial of a given number. So now int fact, because the function will compute the factorial of a number and return the result back to the main function. So I given it as int. Integer type is the type of the value returned by the function. Fact is the name of the function. Int n is the input accepted by the function. Now main int n comma factorial. So n is to accept the number from the user. Then I have to store the factorial, the result sent by the fact function. So I made use of the variable factorial here for that purpose. Now printf enter a number, scanf percentage d comma ampersand n. So for example, if the user gives an input, let us say 3, so that 3 will be stored in variable n. Now I'll have to make the call. Since the function has a return type as well as accepts an argument, so I need a variable here to make a function call. So factorial equal to fact of n. Now once this is executed, once the function call is executed, control will go to the fact function. Now int fact int n. Now for example, I have taken n as 3 here, so that 3 will be copied to n, that is the actual parameter, will be copied to the formal parameter n over here. So next int f equal to 1 comma I have taken, because I'll make use of the for loop and compute the factorial. Then I need to store the intermediate results, that is the factorial of the number. So that's why I have made use of f over here to store the intermediate result of the factorial calculation. Now for I equal to 1, I is less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Now you can see here in the iteration I have given. So now n is 3 for example. So I equal to 1. So 1 is less than or equal to 3. The condition is true. So the control will come inside the for loop. Now f equal to f into I. F is 1. So 1 into 1. The 1 will be stored in f. Now I is incremented by 1 in the next iteration, second iteration. Now n is 3 itself. So 2 is less than or equal to 3. The condition is true. So control will come inside the for loop. Now f equal to f into I. That will be I value is 2, f value is 1. So 1 into 2, 2. 2 will be stored in f. Now again I will be incremented by 1. That is iteration 3. So now I becomes now 3. So 3 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is true. So for loop condition is true. So the control will come inside the for loop. Now f equal to f into I. That is 2 into 3 is equal to 6, which will be stored in f, and then I is incremented by 1. Now the I value becomes 4. So 4 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is false. So control will come outside the for loop. Now return f is executed. So the factorial of 3, that is 6, is stored in f. So return f. So the value is returned back to the calling function. So the value stored in f is 6. That 6 will be copied onto the variable factorial in the main function. Next line is executed. Printf, the factorial of percentage %d is percentage %d, comma n, comma factorial. So the result will be the factorial of 3 is 6. That will be displayed and the function terminates.